You blink and we're already 3 weeks into the 2025 college football season. And with that, we're going to react to it. Welcome into Got It Covered. I'm Giovanni Heater alongside Raza Umarani. Please forgive my friend. He's got Monday Night Football on in the background with a big doubleheader. So if he seems to be a little bit distracted or lets out a couple oohs and ahs, that's to be expected. But how you doing, man? What a great week of college football. We knew it was going to be a good slate, and it definitely delivered once again.
Yeah, between the college slate and the NFL slate, which we will talk about tomorrow, it was an unreal weekend of football, dude.
Yeah.
It was appointment TV at every window of every single day. You had incredible finishes, high scoring games, upsets left and right in both. So, like, there is so much to dive into based on what we saw this weekend. We're obviously going to start with college, and that offered obviously no shortage of fireworks as always. I mean, this has been like even the first 2 weeks have had stuff like this too. So this has
Yeah.
been one of the more entertaining Septembers that I can remember in some time in college football.
The best part about this weekend, for those that don't know, I work with Syracuse football at ESPN Syracuse here locally and do the pregame and postgame show and do stuff during the game as well. And Syracuse played Friday night. So
Mhm.
this is one of the rare times that I actually got to sit back as a fan and literally just veg out on the couch and watch
Mhm.
college football all day on Saturday. Because when you're working a game and covering a game, you end up missing so much. And then you feel like you have to play catch up. And it's never genuinely the same when you're
Mhm.
watching something when you already know the result. So it
Yep.
was so nice to just sit back and watch a banger of a week. Couldn't have picked a better week and a better slate to have Syracuse playing the Friday night game. And they took care of business against Colgate, so you got the dub
There
out of
you
the
go.
way early.
You know what it reminds me of, Gio, is last year when you and I, among others, went down to cover the Tech Miami game,
Yes.
Virginia Tech against Miami, which I like to forget about from time to time. But that was on a Friday night, and we slept in on Saturday, and then we woke up late and like DoorDash Dunkin' Donuts, and that was the night of that Alabama Georgia Classic last year.
Yes.
So like that was, I remember, just a fun day. It's always nice, when you're a professional that has to work on Saturdays, to have a day where you can just stay on the couch and flip through ESPN's channels and whatnot and just watch what you want to watch and not have to worry about writing a story or calling a game or working in any capacity, because that's like, we should not take that for granted.
Yeah, no question about it. Well, let's go ahead, and they say with news stories, right? You got to go with the biggest story first, and that's what you lead with. So let's talk about this one. There's no bigger conference than the Southeastern Conference. They say it just means more, and it felt like this one meant everything to Tennessee fans, and Georgia still gets it done. 44-41, the final score, overtime thriller. Raza, in so many ways, it felt like both teams had no business winning the game, right? Kirby Smart
Yeah.
talked about it in the post-game press conference. He said, like, Tennessee should have won this game. But then at the same breath, you're watching Tennessee. They get off to this hot start. They're up 21-7 at the end of the first quarter. They look fantastic out of the gate. They sputter in the second half, and you're asking yourself the question, how in the heck is Tennessee in a position to win this game right now? But obviously an opportunity to kick the game-winning field goal. I texted you before they even took the field for the field goal attempt, and I said, this kid looks unbelievably nervous. I was like, he's about to shank this kick.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and I feel terrible for this kid. I was like, you can just see it in his face. They said he had never attempted a kick in a situation like this to win a game late in a
Mm-hmm.
game. Just hadn't come up. The opportunity hadn't come up. No bigger scenario, especially with how Georgia had dominated this series. And I said to you, I was like, this kid's about to miss this kick. And it really wasn't even close. And
Nope.
then you give Georgia another chance, you give Kirby Smart another chance, you can guess what's going to happen. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
they score in overtime and take care of business. But what an unbelievable football game, back and forth. Georgia has to surge back after a hot Tennessee start. So much to unpack. A really, really fun game. I think we learned a lot about both teams.
Yeah, I think I'll start by saying this. I got like instant PTSD from the 2022 Peach Bowl when Kirby was like, "Yeah, they deserved to win this game," because that's what he said after they beat Ohio State, because Ohio State's kicker missed the kick, and I was like, "This is an eerily similar set of circumstances," and that was a rough night for your boy. I can't lie. That was a rough night, but For me, Gio, honestly, regulation at least does not come down to the kick. It comes down to the 4th and 8. Gunnar Stockton, do or die, drops the pass of his life. Just unbelievable bucket ball over the shoulder. You couldn't have gone and placed it in London Humphrey's hands any better. For the touchdown that put them back in a position to tie it with a 2-point conversion, then they have a good play call on the 2 and Zachariah Branch is wide open. Then Tennessee misses the field goal, but like that's where I want to pick it up because that was an incredible play. That play, I think Gunnar Stockton showed more stones, for lack of a better term, than we've seen out of any quarterback in college football this year. In a big spot, in a moment like that, like you can think back to maybe a couple of the plays that Carson Beck or CJ Carr made in that opener in Miami against Notre Dame, but like in a high profile, it's the first SEC game of the season.
Yeah.
And he goes out and does that. That was incredible. But I mean, dude, to your point about Tennessee, like you got to feel bad. You just have to feel awful. They were up 21-7 at the end of the first quarter.
Yep.
They looked like they were about to run away with it.
They did.
Chris Brazzell had, it was like shades of Jalen Hyatt against Alabama.
Yes, I thought the exact same thing. No question.
And it felt so eerily similar to that game that I was like, I think Tennessee is going to win this at the end. And when they didn't stop the 4th down for Georgia, I was like, shoot, man, if you leave the door that much open, you just can't get away with it. But at least you can go down and win it now. But to your point, dude, when he missed that kick, which was an obvious miss,
off the foot,
you just knew Georgia was going to find a way to win it in overtime, and they did. So, I mean, I give a ton of credit to Georgia. I think they deserve to win it for how they bounced back. Absolutely. There's still some stuff to button up on defense, but I'm so impressed with what I saw in terms of their resilience. And as much as I feel bad for Tennessee, I think we also learned that Tennessee is pretty damn good.
Yes.
So both of these teams are fantastic. They're going to contend in the SEC. And this goes back to what I said at the beginning of the season, Gio, that you're going to have to knock off Georgia for me, dude. And until Georgia actually starts to lose these games, man, it's going to be hard to pick against them.
And honestly, knowing what we know now 3 weeks in, I don't know who's going to dethrone them, to be honest with you. I guess LSU's the team that you could make the strongest argument, but nothing that I've seen out of LSU has been staggeringly impressive yet. And we see that Clemson is probably not as good as we thought. And then what is Florida? So nothing out of LSU has blown the door off for me. What did you think of Joey Aguilar in this game? Because I thought there were some incredible highs in this game, especially with the strong start. He started the game 14 of 14. It was unbelievable. But then after that, it's hard to sustain that, and I understand. But there was a stark drop-off after that. I want to say it was like six consecutive incompletions or something of that nature. So again, highs and lows. But then no matter what, he gives him a chance at the end. Ends up going 24-36, 371 yards, 4 tuds, does throw 2 picks. Obviously, you'd like to have those back, but it's football. You're going to throw interceptions. They ran the ball for 125 yards as a crew, so they were effective on the ground as well. Georgia ran it for 198 yards of offense on the ground. But, I was very impressed with Joey Aguilar because coming into this game, a big part of the storyline was basically like, oh, this is an unbelievable underdog story from like JUCO to App State to UCLA for a semester. And like, you read his story, like they're talking about how he had taken an hour and a half long train ride when he was in JUCO just to get from where he was living, where he could afford to live, to get to school every day and practice every day. And it's like that his journey was so reflective of that 90-minute train ride to and from and whatnot. And there was it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. And it's the resilience is incredible, but you just kind of sat there and you're like, how the heck is this? Like, you almost felt like, how did this kid luck into being the starting quarterback at Tennessee? Because if Nico's not out the door, Joey Aguilar is not playing SEC football. So it's unbelievable, but he's made the most of it. And it just goes to show, one, Heupel can succeed with just about any quarterback.
Yes.
And then two, I think Aguilar's got some serious talent and can hoop.
I agree. I think you look at the start that he had, and you listen, there's no way to slice it. If you start 14 for 14 for like 200 something yards and 2 touchdowns against a Kirby Smart coach defense,
Yes.
you're good. Man, that doesn't just happen. But on the flip side, the 2 long touchdown passes to Brazil, I thought he got away with them. Like, they're 2 underthrown balls that your guy goes up and makes a crazy play and winds up scoring a touchdown. Like, there was a little bit of luck involved there. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like Paul George when Damian Lillard hit the deep shot to knock them out of the playoffs and be like, oh, that was a bad shot. Like, nah, bro, if you got a jump ball receiver, give him a jump ball.
Sure.
This isn't, let's just treat it like it's jackpot or something in the backyard. But I wish you could say on one hand, oh, I wish it was sustainable. But listen, you're playing Georgia, man. Like, when Georgia's one of very few programs in this country that no matter how many times you knock them onto the canvas, they're going to come back up. You need that knockout blow. And it's not his fault. He put them in a position to win the game at the end. So I'm very impressed with Joey Aguilar. The 2 interceptions, not great. There was a stretch in like the third quarter. They just could not get any offense going. Remember, it was like the last play of the third quarter. That was the big touchdown, which again, that was just, he got away with one.
Yeah. And they almost went 2 quarters scoreless in the second and the third.
Exactly. And that reignited their offense. They reignited everything. Because that was a third. What was it? A third and long as well. And I remember Herbie and Fowler were talking about like the folks in Neyland were getting ready to leave.
Yeah.
And they just got reignited and changed the perplexion of the game. So, like, listen, I said it before. I think Tennessee's in a good spot. They've got a good quarterback who, in the first quarter, people on Twitter are talking about should be a Heisman frontrunner. I like their personnel a lot, man, and we both like Josh Heupel quite a good bit. I think Tennessee is going to be just fine. I'm so impressed with what I saw from both teams in this game.
It was a very fun game, awesome atmosphere. Home team doesn't come out on top. Typical Kirby Smart, though, making it happen at the end. So kudos to Georgia. I think it's fair to say that if they're not the top team in the SEC, right now you'd have to slate them in the SEC championship game if you're a betting man. Let's go ahead and talk about another banger of a football game in the primetime slot. Texas A&M edges out Notre Dame and South Bend. The Fighting Irish are the first 0-2 top 25 team in the AP poll since 1988. Oh my goodness. What a game. And what a win for Texas A&M, because we had said coming into this thing that they don't win these big games. And to this point, they had not. Cements a handful of things. Mike Elko's their guy. No question about it. Cements another thing. This could be a serious, we're taking a step forward as a program moment for Texas A&M. And they had to come from behind to do it on the road. South Bend was rocking. I mean, you have to give serious props to the guts of this Texas A&M Aggies team. And they got some talent, man. Like Marcel Reed looked really good at times. He's so dynamic with his ability to use his legs and escape and his creativity. Casey Concepcion, like this is a roster, man, on both sides of the ball. Obviously the defense gives up 40 points, but just to go win that football game, the Stones on that final play and that final drive really to go win it. What a ball game. What a ball game. And you have to tip your cap to Texas A&M.
I hate to make comparisons that are like brash, especially when they tie back to like things that relate to me. But how could you not watch that game and not see a little bit of like Arizona State Jaden Daniels and Marcel Reed? Is it just me? Like they're a little slight. Their arm is bigger than their frame.
Okay.
And when they get knocked down, dude, they get back up. Marcel Reed was like took a shot on that in the fourth quarter, the last drive or second to last drive. Dude bounces back up, leads them down the field, wins the game. Like that's not nothing. Mario Craver, insane performance. Concepcion, like you said, I think had his best game as an Aggie. Their running back Le'Veon Moss had a very nice game as well. I'm a big fan of Marcel Reed. I think the numbers are a little wonky because I think his completion percentage was south of 50%, but he still had like 400 passing yards because I know Craver ripped off a long one and they had a lot of chunk plays. So I give a ton of credit to Texas A&M. Again, like Mike Elko is their guy. We both took Notre Dame to win. I think we both took Notre Dame to cover. And I still think Notre Dame is a good team. Like as much as I want to get on these AP voters, be like, Notre Dame's winless. How could you put them in your top 25? I think if I had a vote, they would be in my top 25 because I think you would have to show me 25 better teams. I know deserving and better are two different things, but this is a team that's now lost to two teams in the top 10, both on like the final play of the game, essentially. So,
Yeah.
tough situation, but Notre Dame has serious, serious problems on their defense, particularly in the back end. I mean, they get pushed around so easily. This is a poor tackling team. That's one of my big takeaways from this game and also the Miami game.
Which
They
feels
don't
very
have
unlike Marcus Freeman.
right. They just feel unlike the type of team to bring a guy down on first contact, particularly in the secondary. And I mean, you lose some really good players from last year, like Xavier Watson, Benjamin Morrison, are hard to replace, but they have the guys to do it. This is a very talented team. I just think they're a little soft's not the right word. You hate to call any team soft, and Notre Dame certainly isn't, but
They're
they're
not,
just
yeah.
like, is it if it's smaller or weaker or something, they don't feel like the Notre Dame team that we've come to expect under Marcus Freeman. And like they're now 0-2 for the second time in his 4 seasons as a head coach. They had those
They
midseason
played their
losses in
2 hardest
23.
games off the rip, though.
I get that, but when they're 10-2 and playoff time rolls around, we're going to look back at this and be like, yeah, but how did they perform against these playoff teams or playoff
Right.
caliber teams?
Yeah.
And that's going to hold them back, man. There's a chance, small, but there's a chance if Notre Dame's 10-2, they get left out over a team that just has a more compelling resume than they do. Because whether we like it or not, and I know this is like, not what the AP voters or even myself wants to hear, beating a team is better than almost beating a team.
Yeah.
Like we love to say as college football fans, oh, but if no, bro, like you either win or you lose, right? It's a black and white picture when you look at it at the end of the day. So am I impressed with CJ Carr through 2 games? No question about it. Am I impressed with Jeremiah Love? Always. I think Jadarian Price had another good game. I mean, Faison had some plays. Greathouse had some plays. Like Notre Dame's offense is a wagon, and they're going to beat Purdue by 70 this week. But their defense is not a playoff defense, and I think it's what's held them back in these 2 games. They deserve to be 0-2. Like I think that they should have won this game. They should not have beaten Miami. They probably should have won this game, but you can't look at me and tell me that it's just some grace of God. I know people have pointed at the holding potentially could have been called on that 4th down touchdown by Marcel Reed,
You gotta let
but
them play.
yeah, it's 4th and goal, man. I don't think it was heinous enough.
Yeah.
Like, what could it have been called? Absolutely, and I wouldn't have thrown a brick through a window over it. But I think it's not world ending. It's not NFC Championship pass interference against the Saints.
Sure.
Like it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
that bad.
This is actually the rare scenario that I completely agree with the AP voters. And I get it's not like a power ratings situation. I understand that there has to be a little bit of earning to it as well. But I dare you to find 25 teams better than Notre Dame.
Or
You know,
15 even,
that's
dude.
what I'm
Like,
saying. Like they lost to 2 top 10 teams essentially on games that came down to a play that could have been changed by a play. There are not 25 teams better in the country than Notre Dame. I genuinely think that they will run the table. And now they have
yeah.
to. Now they
Well,
absolutely have
their
to.
schedule is Charmin. So the hardest team they play the rest of the way is what? Southern Cal? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're
like
right.
it's not
The
it's so
Syracuse Orange.
true. True. They don't want to run into Steve Angeli.
No, peanut butter and jelly, who leads the nation in passing, by the way. I'd just like to add.
Dude, what is it? Dude, you guys are quarterback machine right now. What the
I
hell's
know.
going on over
Number 1 in the
in
country in
Western New
passing.
York? I think that
Did you
this
say
team is
Western New York?
Upstate New York. I
Okay, okay.
apologize. I'm
It's all right,
thinking,
it's all right.
I'm
It's all
thinking
right.
of Buffalo all the time.
I love my homies in
Um,
Buffalo, but
but yeah,
this is central
distinct
New York.
Central New York, Central New York. That's what I meant. CNY,
Yeah.
not WNY. I think you're right. Like people on Twitter are like, oh, USF bumped out of the rankings, but Notre Dame's still in. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Mhm.
If USF
Mhm.
played Notre Dame on a neutral site, the line would be Notre Dame minus 25.5. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And
And
again, you said it, right? Not power ratings. We don't care about what Vegas has to think because you got to play the games. But you also kind of have to think about what is going on. So, listen, I think Notre Dame's going to be fine. I'm very impressed with Texas A&M. I think this might doom Notre Dame, though. And
okay.
we got to have a real weird what is it with Marcus Freeman? I just don't get it. I don't get it.
We're gonna find
This
out and see how the rest of
early
the year plays
early
out.
season struggles, man. It's going to hold them back. I'm telling you.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so Texas A&M, I think we can seriously put into the playoff conversation,
Yep.
and then Notre Dame, we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out. Another banger of a game. It's in the conference that we know and love and is near and dear to our hearts. How about the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets taking down Clemson? Bobby Dodd Stadium was rocking down in Atlanta. What a scene. They did the whiteout game.
Mm-hmm.
This was a terrific game. I enjoyed watching every single snap of this football game. Georgia Tech, you can't say enough about what Brent Key has done, how much Haynes King carries the load for that team. There's a lot of talent on that offense, though, like obviously Jamal Haynes and all of the different things that he can do in that offense. And then Georgia Tech physically in the trenches on both lines of scrimmage, offensively and defensively. I seriously think they've built a roster that can contend with some of the big boys. And they
Mm-hmm.
showed that against Clemson because Clemson's built that way. Clemson's offense has some serious issues. And I know they're without Antonio Williams, but I just think Cade Klubnik is not the guy we thought he was going to be coming into this season. And Clemson's in big trouble, man. Like serious trouble of even missing the ACC championship opportunity. It is do or die right now in Death Valley. You cannot lose another game essentially at this point. And then for Georgia Tech, I picked them to go to the playoff. Right
Yeah.
now, they're in a slew of Miami, Florida State, and Georgia Tech as far as duking out the top of the ACC. I thought
Yeah.
Louisville would have a chance to be there. I no longer think that watching them play for 3 weeks.
Agreed.
I think it's kind of a 3-horse race right now. And who knows? Clemson could run the table and be back in that conversation, but Georgia Tech's going to have the tiebreaker now. I mean, this was a huge game. We had circled it, week 3, Georgia Tech and Clemson. And to Georgia Tech's credit, I don't think a lot of people were picking them to win the game, and they went out and did it.
Mm-hmm. I want to start by saying I also give a ton of credit to Georgia Tech. Like they are so much fun to watch. Haynes King, we say it every week. His body is the wear and tear is red from head to toe. But dude, it works.
They got to stop running him 20. He's not going to make it to the middle of October if they run him 20 something times a game.
Yes. It's crazy. What else is crazy is that so often it's coming every time and you still can't stop it. It's crazy.
It's crazy too because they're not scrambles. These are designed runs.
Every time.
Every time.
So ton of credit to him and Aiden Burr. Ice cold. That kid is
Aaron Burr memes.
I know, yeah. It's a dot Burr, dude. That kid will never have
if
to pay
only
for
there
a
was
drink
like
in
a dude
Atlanta.
named Hamilton on Clemson.
That would have been amazing.
The memes would have been nice.
But as much as I tip my cap to Brent Key and company, the story of this game is Clemson to me, man. I don't understand how a team that is so deep, is so talented, returns so much, and is on the surface so well coached is so bad. Not just like, oh, they're not doing it. They're bad. They are bad. Let's call it how it is. They are bad. Cade Klubnik is bad. Adam Randall is bad. Like, Gideon Davidson is not a factor in any of these games. The only player worth a damn, respectfully, on that offense right now is Bryant Wesco Jr. And
he's the dog.
And he's the only reason why they were in that game.
Yep.
because he makes this crazy play. Well, I think it might have been third down, but he makes that crazy play at the start of the second half to put Clemson in front, and we're like, ah, shoot, that's the upset bid. Upset bid was fun while it lasted because it was 13-0 halfway through the second quarter, and now all of a sudden Clemson's got the lead. But no, they couldn't do anything the rest of the way. And Cade Klubnik, man, for a guy who is let's call him what it is, a 4-year starter,
Yeah,
who was a top 5 to 10 quarterback in his class, who has been there and done that and played on every stage in every stadium across the country and is a projected first-round pick. Dude, you are horrible to start this year right now. It makes no sense. What is the narrative being like dating back to last year for Klubnik? He's finally figuring it out.
right.
It's like he's forgotten everything now. It's like you take algebra 2 and then you get to pre-calc and you forgot what you learned in algebra 2, so you got to repeat the class. He's like got to repeat 15 quarterback classes right now. He just does not. Clemson on so many levels is not just the team we expect them to be. They're not the team that they were. Like, it's the same team from the end of last year, and they are a fraction of as good as they were at the end of last year. It boggles my mind. I think their defense is still really good, obviously. That Georgia Tech team can line up and beat you. Like, we've seen them, like you said, go toe-to-toe in this game, but also you think back to the Georgia game last year. They can compete with the big dogs in the trenches. And I'm still a fan of their secondary. It's just their offense is just bafflingly bad to me right now, Gio. I know that sounds mean, but am I wrong? Like, tell me.
No. I agree with you. And I think I've always been a big believer in like supporting it with numbers. It's almost hard to support it with numbers other than the fact that they only threw it for 207 yards. Klubnik goes 15 to 26, 207 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. They ran the ball effectively. I mean, they had 174 yards on the ground for 2
But
scores.
they couldn't score.
Yeah.
Like they
Couldn't
could
find their
not
way into the
score.
end zone.
I mean, they turned the ball over what, twice, I want to say.
They looked inept against LSU. And
They
then they
did.
looked inept in the first half against Troy and
Yep. And
trailed
for
at
most of
halftime by 2 possessions. It's not like you trailed by a field goal. You trailed Troy by 2 possessions at the break.
2 full possessions, 16 points. And then for most of this first half as well. I mean, yardage wise, it's different, right? Because one of those turnovers was deep in Georgia Tech's end, which, by the way, that should have been a touchdown for Georgia Tech. I don't know what Buddy was doing when he was just like running by his guy and ran past the guy he's supposed to block. He would have scored a touchdown on that play. So defenders, bro, keep your head up and block somebody. Don't look up and watch your guy run. Go make sure he's able to run. So,
Right.
but you can like drive deep so many times. Ohio State had this problem on Saturday, but they didn't have any consequences because it was Ohio. They had like 250 yards in the first half and 13 points because every time they went to the red zone, they could not finish the drive.
Right.
It's not that Clemson just can't finish drives. They can't score at all.
Yeah.
They're missing kicks. Cade Klubnik is just not good situationally. They are so discombobulated. And it just, I know you said Antonio Williams is gone, but it's not like he's Julio Jones. Like they have lost every ability to effectively play offense for some reason. It just makes no sense.
Do you think, and we're gonna have a preview, but do you think like it's over for Clemson? Do you think the mountain is a little steep to climb right now? Or do you think Georgia Tech slips up or Miami slips up or Florida State slips up? Someone's going to slip. But I mean, you only have one ACC loss. Georgia Tech owns the tiebreaker. Like there's still paths, no question.
Right.
I just don't see that offense propelling them to victories.
Exactly.
I think, call me insane. I think Syracuse has gone back-to-back weeks with over 400 yards through the air. I understand they played UConn and Colgate.
I was going to say, thank you.
I get that. I do get that. I think there's a shot they go in there and give them a fight. And Syracuse historically always goes to Death Valley and gives Clemson one of the better games of the year.
I will cross that bridge when we get there. But in terms of the long term, I don't think this is a playoff team. I don't think this is a playoff contender. I don't think they'll finish the year with 2 losses. There will be another one down the road.
Yeah.
I'm
I
pretty sure
see.
they have to play Florida State later in the season. I don't see a team, to be quite frank with you, that's worth talking about until they
Yeah.
prove that they're worth it again.
Yeah. It feels like 8-4, 9-3, which would be a massive disappointment compared to I had them going undefeated going into
Mhm.
the playoff.
Me too. This is my preseason national champ, and they are awful. They are the worst watch in the sport right now. It's along with another Tiger team that I'm really fond of, by the way, that we'll talk about later. They're just a bad watch, and it's gotten to a point where I know people are joking about it online, but I'm dead serious. Like, Dabo is on a one-way ticket to sitting up with Nick Saban on College Game Day after this year. Like, these people are going to
Come
draw a
to
line at
Virginia
some
Tech.
point. I
Dabo
want,
to Dabo to Blacksburg?
dude. I don't even know if I want that, but
Yeah.
I think the writing's on the wall. It's like you got to adapt or die. He hasn't adapted, and now it's led to the program's downfall. I don't see how there's much bouncing back from this.
You mentioned a certain Tiger team. They did win on Saturday.
Yeah,
The
they did.
LSU Tigers, they beat Florida 20
I'm
to
being so
10
I'm being so mean today. I feel bad.
in Baton Rouge. I'm not gonna lie, call me insane. This was a snooze fest of a football game.
Yes.
It really was. It was so unentertaining. A lot of things to unpack here. Brian Kelly, first and foremost, did you listen to the post game press conference?
Of course I did.
I hate his delivery. I really do. But this is the one time I never agree with what he has to say. This is the one time I'm actually going to agree with what he has to say. They won the football game. And
Mhm.
sometimes in the Southeastern Conference, it's like the NFL. Quite literally, the SEC is like the NFL. How many times have we said that? Sometimes you just got to be okay with getting a win. Doesn't matter how it happens. You
Look
just
at
got
the
to be
Eagles
happy you got
against
a
the
win.
Chiefs. Look ugly as hell.
Got
And
the
still
win.
won. Yeah,
Got
that's
the
what Jalen
win.
Hurts said.
Exactly. Um, So I agree with Brian Kelly in that sentiment. I hate how he delivers things. He sounds like such a whiner.
Yeah.
So weird as the face of your program and your head coach to always be like whining at the podium. Like, oh, give me a break. But Florida, man,
It's over.
it feels like it's over. And it's not the fact that they lost the game. It's the eye test. It's how they lost it. It's just like we talked about with Virginia Tech last week. It was over because they gave up 34 points in the second half and got outgained 321 to 21. That's why it was over, not because they lost to Vanderbilt. It's the fashion in which it happened. This is what it felt like with Florida. DJ Lagway, 5 interceptions. This is your 5-star quarterback. This is your guy. This is the face of your franchise, so to speak. I'm not trying to put it all on the kid, but between the 5 picks and just the undisciplined, like you had a shoot throwing situation all over again, but wasn't the shoot throwing. Like this is just a poorly coached football team right now. And I don't like calling for people's heads and calling for people's jobs. I'm not a Florida fan, so they can do whatever they want. But I would be very surprised if Billy Napier's not gone. Like the different stipulations, you don't know when they kind of pull the trigger on it, but he's not going to have a job next year.
Uh, I just don't know what the hell happened. I think down the stretch, I think Lagway just started forcing it. Like he was like, we got to
You're
get
trying to
back in
make
the
plays.
game. I got to make a play. I got to make a throw. And he was just but that doesn't change the fact he had 2 picks in the first half.
Yeah.
And they started the second half with a pick 6. So like you could say, let's give him 2 as grace of trying to make plays because they were down 10. There was 3. And one of them was pick 6. Craziest tweet of the weekend I saw. Florida has allowed 2 touchdowns. The Florida's defense has allowed 2 touchdowns this year, and they're 1-2. Like because there was the punt debacle against USF, and now there's the pick 6 here in this game. Like you pretty much hit the nail on the head with Lagway and Florida and everything. I think all of that is pretty much the accepted common opinion of this team and of this program at this current state. For me, like LSU, man. Clemson loss, by the way, doesn't look as good. Sorry, Clemson win doesn't look as good.
No.
They could not score against Louisiana Tech. And now they can't score against Florida, whose defense admittedly looks pretty good. But for a team that is so supremely talented on that side of the ball, why can they not move the ball? With respect to that reporter, that's the question everybody in Baton Rouge is asking. So to Brian Kelly's credit, yeah, they're winning games, but to the reporter's credit, they can't move the ball. They're not winning
Yeah.
games because of their offense. They're winning games because their defense looks like maybe the best in the country.
I didn't think it was an invalid question. I thought it
No,
was a
definitely
fine
not.
question. It was a
Crazy.
completely
It's kind of
appropriate
crazy
question.
for it to be the first question of the press conference. I think that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
First question should be like your defense forced 5 turnovers. What stood out? Whatever. Not
Right.
like, hey, so
Not the tone setter.
why the hell can't we move the ball?
Right.
But yeah, they've yet to score more than like 23 this year, which is crazy because we think of LSU, we think of points, but this is a old school SEC type of team that still has a second, third, fourth, fifth gear it can reach on offense. At least that's what we think. I would love if LSU comes out in one of these next few games and just cooks
And just
on
rips it
offense.
all over the place.
It would make me feel so much better if we see that, dude. They become the national championship favorite
because their defense looks outstanding.
It's probably the best in the country.
Their defense is unreal.
I mean, what Halsey and Delane have brought to that secondary is unbelievable. That this is true. We miss him very dearly. I mean, they have. We said it after the Clemson game, Gio, but it's true. They have impact players everywhere. I mean, Perkins, Weeks, who was ejected in the first quarter, by the way.
I was just gonna say, like, you create 5 turnovers without Weeks.
Ridiculous. And then Delane and Halsey are arguably the 2 biggest defensive transfers in terms of impact already on the young season. So it's a championship defense. The offense just needs to catch up.
All right, one more big game to talk about here. Then we're going to kind of wrap things up with some final thoughts on week 3. Vanderbilt goes into South Carolina, wins it 31-7. I know Lenoris Sellers gets knocked out of this game. I picked Vanderbilt to win it out of the gate. Did you pick Vanderbilt or did you pick South Carolina?
So I went back and watched our thing for Gore. I don't know. I can't remember what you did. I definitely picked South Carolina to win because I said like Sellers would make a play late, but I had Vanderbilt money line on Saturday. So whatever I said, I apologize. I did the opposite. And we made out like bandits for that one. So yeah, but a lot of that is obviously because of what happened to Lenoris.
Sure. I picked Vanderbilt. My point being, though, I thought Vanderbilt was going to win the game going into it regardless of Lenoris. Lenoris gets hurt. But the tenor of that game up until the point that Lenoris got hurt, I still felt like Vanderbilt was playing like the better team. And they were doing it on the road. Like, I think Vanderbilt was going to win this game, Lenoris or not. And I know we'll never know the answer to that question, but they're built so well in the trenches. We've talked so many times about Pavia. He's a dog, right? Great leader in the clubhouse, kind of a guy, makes plays. Never going to be an NFL type of player, but it's like one of those great college quarterbacks that it creates so many fun moments type of player, right? There's so much talent on that team, but I think it really comes down to, and this is not a knock on Shane, I think South Carolina is well coached as well. They're really well coached at Vanderbilt. Clark Lee knows what he's doing. And I thought they were going to win the game and even when Lenoris went out before that, I thought they were going to win the game. They were playing like the better football team.
They were the better football team. They deserve to be ranked in the top, 20 are they this week?
Yeah. I think they're 19.
They should have been ranked last week.
They should have.
To be honest with you. This is a team that's well coached. They are very physical. I feel like they play every game with the why not us mentality. Like, we know we're Vanderbilt. We're probably getting counted out because we're Vanderbilt and there's this preconceived notion of who we are, but we're going to come smack you in the mouth. So you better come prepared to scrap because, we pack that thing too. And it's a fun team to watch, man. Like, they're not going to blow anybody away offensively. That's not to say that their offense is poor. They're not going to, it's not like they have Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson lining up a wide receiver, dude. They just line up and they beat you.
Yeah.
Pavia is the ultimate embodiment of that and the personification of what this program stands for. They're incredibly well coached. They still have very talented players. I mean, Cheryl, Alexander, Stowers, obviously Pavia. Their defense has some guys too. I do think they were on track to win that game if Lenora stayed in. I really hate that he left and he got hurt, and I hope he's okay. I know he's in concussion protocol. And obviously, or maybe not obviously, like, I don't know that Vanderbilt is going to be an SEC contender, but they definitely have earned so much respect, and they're a fun team to watch, to be honest with you. They're very easy to root for, and for them to get just another statement win after last year where they had a few as well, like, they definitely have earned so much respect, and they will have that for as long as Clark Lee is there.
What do you make of South Carolina now that you've seen them for 3 weeks? Virginia Tech looked at its best against South Carolina. They are now 0-3. I think it's a situation, though, where the locker room was lost after that game, and so it's hard to dictate that. But what do you make of South Carolina? Because I do not think that they're as good as we thought they were going to be this year.
No, and I thought they were extremely overrated coming in this game. I don't know why they were anywhere near the top 10. I would have dropped them substantially, to be honest with you, both because they haven't accomplished anything. They haven't looked good, and a lot of the other teams. Like, listen, nobody's higher on Utah than I am right now. You know that.
You love Utah, bro.
You know that. Now, granted, they were doing a little bit of trolling the other night against Cal Poly, but why they're not ranked, or why they were ranked above teams like, even like Tennessee for that matter, dude. I don't know why South Carolina was ranked where they were. So it's another one of those cases of a team not being ranked where they were supposed to, which maybe makes us feel differently about the way they won or who they beat or whatever. But yeah, I wasn't very high on this team after watching their first 2 games, particularly how they played against Tech. And I'm definitely less high on them now. Even when the Norris is there, man, their offense just still looks out of sync. And I think they're very talented defensively, but something's not right on their offense. And I think Lenoris is clearly still so raw as a passer. He's an incredible athlete, an incredible runner past the line of scrimmage. But this is not a guy that's a threat from the pocket right now, even when he gets back. And that holds them back.
No question about it. All right, well, we've talked about a lot. Week 3 of college football was awesome. A couple more notes to go through as we wrap things up here. I think it was awesome to see a big game out of Ryan Williams in Alabama against Wisconsin. 5 catches, 165 yards, 2 tuds. Alabama felt like a little bit of I don't want to say a return to form, but that offense got cooking, and we saw some good things out of Ty Simpson, and there's some takeaways there. Duke drops back-to-back. We were high on Duke, man. And the Illinois, whatever, it's again, the fashion in which they lost, got blown out by Illinois in their own building. But then you go to Tulane, Retzlaff bests Mensa in his return to Tulane. A lot of cool storylines there, but what's going on with Duke? Number 5, Miami, absolutely boat race. Number 18, USF, 49-12. You did call it. I don't think that's anything against Alex Golish. I think if anything, we can look at it and be like, dude, Miami's freaking great.
Really good.
Like, really good. Serious national title contenders. I think it's safe to say, as long as their coach stays out of their way.
True. Yeah, it's like, dude.
Got to take those knees at the end.
Every Miami fan right now is waiting for the other shoe to drop. And rest assured, it will. Will it happen in September or January?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Turns out UConn is not it because they lost to FCS Delaware. So the Huskies are not back.
The fight in Joe Flacco's. Can I tell you my biggest takeaway from college football at large that we haven't discussed already?
Yeah, please.
And I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep being mean.
He's having a rough week, folks. Like, what are you taking?
A lot of haterade. Sipping a lot of haterade in the morning. Seriously. But this isn't haterade. This is just true. And the fans there will agree with me because they were booing the heck out of him. Dude, Arch Manning sucks. He sucks. Like,
Yeah.
straight up, he
Well,
is
yeah.
unwatchable. Unwatchable. His mechanics are terrible. His balls are terrible. Excuse me. The football coming out of his hand looks like the
Immunity.
football coming out of your hand. Immunity. Um, I mean, that play, it's so funny to watch the crowd on the play where he's running around in the backfield and then chucks it into the end zone right to the defender, and you can just hear the crowd go, "Oh, like what the hell is he doing?" He's getting away with it because they're playing the University of Texas Panera Bread, but like, dude, he's not good, and I think Texas is gonna like lose multiple more games this year because of how bad he is. They don't have another option at quarterback, and I don't think he's magically just going to get better overnight. You know why his grandfather said he's going to stay another year at Texas? It's not because of the tradition of where Mannings, we stay out our college degrees and whatever all this. It's because he's terrible. Like, he needs an extra year. And I don't take if this I have my playoff projections, that I update weekly. I do not have Texas in right now. I think they're going to lose 4 games. Like, that might be an overreaction. Their schedule's not easy. Let's get that out the way. Texas A&M looks better than they do right now. Their quarterback looks better than he does right now. They have to play LSU. They have to play Georgia. I think this is a 8-win football team because I think Arch holds them back substantially. It's not that they lack for talent. It's that he's bad.
You know how we started the season with an awesome hype video to open our show? Yeah. That's no longer a thing because we haven't had the time to make a new one. And that's because everybody we featured in this awesome hype video stinks. It starts out with Arch, then it goes to Cade Klubnik. And then after Cade Klubnik, I don't know if it stinks the rest of the way. You got Jeremiah Smith, who hasn't done anything nutty this year yet, but I'm sure
He had a pretty good game on Saturday.
He did have a nice game statistically. Yes, for sure. And they had the deep ball to him. It features Ryan Williams, who finally hooped after he got concussed against Florida State, basically.
Yeah. I mean, what did I text you? The first touchdown he had, I was like, that's the first play Ryan Williams has made in a year.
Yeah, true.
Like, he had a nice touchdown against Vanderbilt last year. I don't want to discount that, but like,
he did that. That was a nice play. And then we featured Jeremiah Love, and Jeremiah Love's a baller. So,
yeah.
But you can't start with Arch and Cade and keep running that.
I mean, dude, like, I hate to say it, I feel bad for the kid. All the expectations in the world are on him. I said it when we talked in the preseason, man. He should never, ever, ever have been the preseason Heisman favorite. Not just the eyes of Texas are upon you, the eyes of the nation are upon you. Paul Feinbaum is saying he's the best player we've seen since Tim Tebow, which is kind of fitting because neither of them can throw the football. So I don't know what it is with Arch, but he is crumbling under the weight of the expectations, or maybe he's just not that good. And I think either of them are possible. I think the former is much more possible. But Texas is an unserious watch right now with him playing quarterback. And they are not going to get away with it when they're not playing freaking Malachi Nelson. So, well, I could not be lower on Texas right now.
Last note on week 3. West Virginia, in true Rich Rod fashion, comes from behind to beat Pitt in the backyard brawl. I don't care how bad those teams are, what their record is every single year. I'm so glad that thing got extended. Sign me up to watch Pitt, West Virginia every year. I mean, no matter what. Place was packed. They striped it out in Morgantown at Milan Puskar Stadium. I've been to that stadium. Nice place. I went there for the Gold Rush game. They played Virginia Tech. And the place was a zoo. They throw batteries and like light couches on fire.
They are nuts.
It's a little different.
They're nuts.
And then last piece of college football news before we get out of here, we're going to do a separate video unpacking it specifically for Virginia Tech and Brent Pry, but UCLA fires Deshaun Foster. Virginia Tech fires Brent Pry. That all comes after 3 weeks into the season. You do not see that every year where someone's getting canned 3 weeks in. Nevertheless, 2 power conference teams that had some serious heights in their heyday.
It sucks, man. It sucks for both programs. We'll talk about it with Tech, but like probably was a guy who walked in and felt like a Hokie. It never worked from an X's and O's perspective. Foster is a guy who could have gotten fired from his opening press conference. Like I know he's a UCLA guy, but that was doomed from the start. And I feel bad. I feel bad for Tech because of the fan base. UCLA has no football fan base.
No.
So but excuse me. But they are in a position where the football program feels dead and buried at UCLA. Whoever they bring in next is going to have to literally be, Lazarus. Essentially.
Yeah. And it didn't help from the get-go that athletic department was already in the red. So the reason that they even gave Foster a shot was the fact that he was cheap, and they could grossly essentially underpay him. I mean, whatever market value you want to put on him, whatever. But it was not good from the get-go.
Then they spend money. They get a quarterback who stinks.
They did do that. Doesn't help that he has nothing around him, but
that's right. UCLA is a mess in a lot of different ways. And that's Foster was like he's not a scapegoat because so much of it is tied back to him, but he's the head that they've now chopped off. And I don't know where the program goes, but Chip Kelly is a dream to them right now. It feels like forever ago.
Yeah, and it really wasn't all that long ago. Yeah. All right, coming up on Got It Covered, so much stuff. We're going to finish up watching the Monday night doubleheader tonight. Tomorrow, we're going to give our NFL Week 2 reactions, and then later on in the week, and we're going to do it a little earlier this week. On Thursday, we're going to get you your college football picks and your NFL picks for the upcoming weekend, and we're also going to do a video featuring Virginia Tech firing Brent Pry as well. So a lot to be on the lookout for. Follow us on the socials. You can find it at Got It Covered FB. Give us a follow, hit that like, subscribe button, leave us a comment, let us know how you're liking the show, and refer the show to friends if you enjoy what you see as well, because we're trying to grow this thing and get this as big as possible. So plenty of NFL stuff coming, plenty more college football and NFL stuff at the end of the week. For Raza Umarani, I'm Giovanni Heater. Thanks so much for joining us. We got you covered. Don't worry about it.